Good morning yogis, I'm Lucy. I'd like to welcome you to this practice, just a short practice that will hopefully help to lift your energy. If you're feeling a bit flat but in need of that, then come with me for the next few minutes. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. It doesn't have to be legs crossed, you can sit with your legs out in front, you could sit in lotus, half lotus, whatever works for you. Find a comfortable position where you can sit nice and tall, spine's long, shoulders are relaxed, like the arms relaxed, and we're just going to take a moment to check in with the breath. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes or maybe just lower your gaze if that feels better for you today. And just take a moment to begin to notice the breath. Becoming really aware of the inhale and the exhale. Perhaps noticing if it's shallow or deep. What the rhythm's like. Whatever you find there, not trying to change it or do anything with it, we're just checking in, just accepting what's there. Allowing the breath to really ground you in the present moment. And if it feels helpful for you, then perhaps gently scanning the body, becoming aware of any tension, discomfort, aches, hopefully no pains. Just noticing what's there, perhaps becoming aware of anything you need to take care of through this morning's practice. When you're ready, gently blinking the eyes open. And with a nice long spine, we're going to take a breath in, and as we exhale, we're hinging forwards, just finding a point of resistance in the hips. Not trying to go too far, it's our first movement. And if you want to, you can take a little sway here, or you can stay still, whatever feels right for you. And we're going to walk the hands back in, we're going to bring them behind, fingertips point forwards, we're going to roll the shoulders back and down, arch the spine, open the throat if that feels good. Inhaling back to centre, lengthening, exhale, forwards. You might feel you can go a little bit deeper this time, but don't go too far. Good, walking the hands back in, bringing them behind one more time, fingertips point forward, shoulders back and down, arching the spine. Good, coming back up. If you are sat cross-legged, let's cross the legs the other way, awkward way. Take a breath in to lengthen, exhale, easing forwards. Again, just finding that point of resistance, either taking a little sway or finding some stillness here. Good, walking the hands in, bringing them behind, elbows like you're going to try and make them touch so you can arch the spine, open the throat. And one more time, inhale, lengthen, exhale, leading with the chest, moving forwards, perhaps going a bit deeper. Good, walking the hands back in, and the last time now, arching the spine, shoulders back and down. Good, coming back to centre, we're going to take a side stretch. So we're going to bring the right hand, big step out to the right hand side, keeping the shoulders in line with each other, sweeping the left arm over. Really thinking about grounding that left sitting bone. You can feel a stretch between the hip and the ribs. Back to centre and over to the left, exactly the same thing, grounding the right sitting bone this time. Back to centre and over to the right. Perhaps reaching it deeper, you might want to bend this bottom elbow, take it a bit further. Listen to what your body wants to do, coming over to the left. Good, this time as we come up, we're going to sweep this right hand around behind, the left hand's going to come to the right knee, we're going to roll the right shoulder back and take the gaze over the right shoulder. Try and keep the jaw parallel to the floor if you can. Sweeping past centre and round to the left, using the back hand to keep the length in the spine, so we're not rounding into it, pressing into that back hand, keeping the spine nice and long. One more time to the right. And to the left. Good, coming back to centre, we're going to come over onto hands and knees now. So hands directly under shoulders, knees directly under hips. Pressing the ground away, we're not locking the elbows out, so keeping a small Soft bend in the elbow, neck is neutral for now. And we're going to move through some cat and cow. So taking a breath in. As you exhale, tucking the tailbone under, rounding the spine, dropping the head, really pressing into the back of the shoulders. Inhaling through, lifting the sitting bones, melting the chest through, lifting the gaze. Rounding into a cat. Arching the spine through to cow. And wriggling into any areas that sort of feel like they need it. You might want to come onto the fingertips, take a kind of angry cat. So we can really get into the back of the shoulders, see what feels nice. Moving through with your own breath, but really trying to make it a wave-like motion where the head comes last of all. Nice, coming back to neutral now. We're going to tuck the toes under for our first downward facing dog, so really spreading the hands out, gripping the mat. I'm going to keep a bend of the knees for this first one, so we're going to lift the hips up and back. So spreading the hands out, softening the elbows, melting the chest through, giving the head a wobble, releasing tension, letting the weight of the head pull yourself over. Tummy slightly engaged, sitting bones lift up to the sky, and then we're going to think about walking the heels up and down. So easing into the back of the legs, nice and gently, not going too far. It feels really tight in the back of your legs, be really aware of that. And then if it feels nice, we're going to find some stillness in our downward facing dog, letting the heels settle towards the mat. Keep lifting those sitting bones, pressing the ground away with the hands. And we're going to lower the knees and take a child's pose. It might feel nice, bring the knees wide, toes together so we can really get down inside. You might want to rest your head on your hands, make it comfortable for you, and if child's pose isn't a comfortable pose for you as a rest, then take something else. Take a seated position, lie on your front. You don't have to do any of the poses if they don't work for your body. So easing back now onto the hands and knees, we're going to thread the needle. So we're going to inhale the left arm all the way up. As we exhale, we're threading it through the right armpit, reaching as far away as we can. I'm just going to come the other way so you can see exactly. Inhale, reach. Exhale through. Inhale, reaching it all the way up. And exhaling through. Coming back to centre. From here now, we're going to walk the hands away. They might come off the mat. What we want to think about is keeping the hips stacked over the knees as we melt the chest through. Bringing the forehead, or if you've got a particularly flexible spine, you might want to bring the chin down onto the mat for puppy pose. Walking those hands back in. We're going to repeat our thread the needle on the other side. So we're going to inhale the right arm all the way up and exhale, threading it through. Inhale, reach. Exhaling through. One more time. Inhale, reach. And exhale, threading it through. Coming back to neutral, one more puppy pose. Let's walk those hands away, melting the chest through. Keep the hips over the knees. Big stretch underneath the arms. If you want to, you can bring the elbows down, bring the hands together, and then bend the elbows so we've got prayer hands behind the neck for a little bit more stretch underneath the armpits, the back of the arms. Good, releasing the hands back down. Let's walk them in. And we're going to tuck the toes for another downward facing dog. So, lifting the sitting bones, let the heels settle, reconnect with the breath. We're going to inhale the right leg all the way up behind. As we exhale, we're stepping that foot forwards to where the right hand is and dropping the left knee down. We're going to bring the hands, wobbly this morning, onto that front knee. We're going to drop the hips down and forwards, shoulders back and down, and then we're going to reach the arms up by the ears. Bringing the hands down about halfway between the knee and the heel, sitting back for a half split. This right leg's going to come towards straight. I say towards straight because if that's a massive stretch for you, keep a bend in the knee. You want to keep these right toes active, pulling up towards the shin. You might want to use some blocks if you're a little bit further away from the mat than I am. Easing forward, sweeping the arms up. You may be able to take a little bit of a back bend this time and lift the gaze. Good, hands come down. Sitting back for another half split. Ardha Hanumasana. You might want to think about inhale, lift up and lengthen. Exhale, deepen. But just be really mindful of the back of that knee. Easing forwards, We're going to plant the left hand and reach the right all the way up to the sky. Inhale, releasing it back to the mat. Exhale, reach. And back to the mat. Reaching one more time. Good, hands come down and stepping back to plank. So finding a strong plank pose, shifting the weight forwards, we're right on the tips of our toes. Lowering the knees down to the mat and then coming down one elbow at a time and dropping the hips for Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx, the elbows directly under the shoulder so that we are propped up nice and easy. We don't want the hands further back so that we're having to lift. We don't want any effort through the back, through the glutes in this pose. So we're going to relax the legs, relax the glutes. And then you can make your Sphinx really active by pressing into the mat if that feels nice for your back, or you can shrug into it. Bringing the hands back underneath the shoulders, we're going to tuck the toes for downward facing dog. And inhale the left leg all the way up behind this time. Stepping that foot forwards, dropping the right knee down. Hands onto the front knee. So again, hips drop down and forwards, spine is long, then we reach the arms up. Hands come down, sitting the hips back for a half split on the left. So this left leg comes towards straight, left toes are active. Really hinging from the hip and not letting ourselves wobble off to one side. Easing forwards, drop the hips, reach the arms, maybe lift the gaze, take a back bend. Good, hands come down. One more half split. Gosh, I'm very wobbly this morning. Again, perhaps it'll feel nice to play with the edge of this pose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold a little closer to that left leg. Easing forward this time, planting the right hand and lifting the left. Make sure you keep those hips dropping. We don't want to come back up just because we've lifted this left arm. Lowering those fingertips to the mat and then inhaling them all the way up. One more time. Inhaling all the way up. Good, bring those fingertips down. Tucking the right toes under, we're going to step the left foot, sorry that's the right foot, to join the left at the top of the mat. In a forward fold. So we've got a crease at the hips, the upper body is hanging, we can keep the bend in the knees if we need to. It might feel nice to grasp opposite elbows, take a little sway from one side to the other. And then releasing the hands, softening the knees, we're going to keep the hips stacked over the knees stacked over the ankles, we're going to roll up to standing, one vertebra at a time. Something I'm not very good at, but we'll give it a go anyway. So from here, I'm going to take chair pose next. So the feet are hip distance, shoulders back and down, somewhere lightly engaged, relax the arms. Then we're going to sweep the arms all the way up and sit down for a chair pose. I want you to think about tucking the tailbone under rather than making it a back bend. Coming all the way up, reaching the arms backwards, squeezing the glutes for a standing back bend. And then swan diving forwards back into our forward fold. Again, soften the knees if you need to. Inhale, coming up halfway with the fingertips to shins. Exhale, folding forwards. We're going to plant the hands, so bend the knees if you need to, so we can step out to plank. Shifting the weight forwards. We're going to lower the knees down to the mat. I'm going to keep the elbows tucked in as we lower the chin and chest down to the mat and push through for a cobra. Now it might be a cobra with the arms straight. You might prefer to keep it lower and just lift up using the back muscles, but keep those elbows tucked in. And from here we're pressing back to child's pose. Again, bring the knees wide if that feels good for you. Or take a different resting pose. Walking the hands in, we're going to come around now to seated. So with the legs extended, I'm going to make sure we're on our sitting bones. We're going to pull the toes up so the feet are active, sitting up nice and tall with the shoulders back and down. And we're going to draw this right knee in. From here, we're either going to bring the foot into the opposite hand, or we're going to bring it into the crease of the elbow, and we're going to rock the baby. Wherever you are, I want you to make sure you sat up nice and tall. I don't want you to be rounding back into it. So we're here, or we're here. We're going to release that now and place it on the other side of the leg. If that's not comfortable, keep it on this side. going to take a twist from here. So planting that foot, sitting up nice and tall. I'm going to take a breath in to lengthen the spine, and as we exhale, we're just going to twist from the hips towards the bent knee. So we're twisting to the right. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twisting from the ribs. We're going to start to wrap this left arm around, and the right hand's going to come down directly behind, just like we did in the earlier twist, to keep the length in the spine. One more time, inhale, lengthen, exhale, twisting from the shoulders and taking the gaze over the right shoulder last of all. Make sure this left foot stays active. Good, unwinding the gaze and the body, extending this leg. Taking a breath in here to lengthen and exhale, easing forwards. Just relax the hands wherever they land, drop the head in. Lifting the gaze, walking the hands back in. I'm going to draw the left knee in this time. So same thing, either into the opposite hand or crease to the opposite elbow, sitting up nice and tall on both sitting bones and rocking the baby. Good, releasing that foot either to the inside or the outside of the leg, whichever feels better. Sitting up nice and tall. Take a breath in to lengthen, exhale, we're twisting to the left, just from the hips to begin with. We want a really nice even twist throughout the spine. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twisting from the ribs, wrapping the right arm round, left hand comes down behind. Keep the length in the spine and the jaw parallel to the floor. Last one, inhale, lengthen, exhale, twisting from the shoulders and taking the gaze round last of all. Nice, easing back round. Extending this leg. Again, make sure on both sitting bones, feet are active. Inhale, reaching all the way up. And exhale as we hinge forward, as though you're reaching past the feet, even if you're nowhere near them, and then dropping the head in. So we're keeping length in the spine. If it's quite easy for you to come over like this, we want to think chin to shin rather than knee to nose. And if this is really difficult for you, then put a bend in the knees, soften it for yourself, don't make it difficult. Good, walking the hands back in. Easing yourself up, it's time to lie down. So we're going to come to lie down, excuse me, sniffing. We're going to come to lie down on our backs with the knees bent and the feet flat to the floor. From here, we're going to push into the feet so we can shift the hips to the left so that the knees can fall comfortably to the right. I'm going to wriggle a little bit so that my legs, the weight of the legs is holding me in place. I don't need to do anything to stay here. Then for me, I'm going to bring my arms out wide at shoulder height. You might want to cactus the arms, you might just want to rest them on your torso, whatever works for you. And then the gaze can either go in the opposite direction to the knees or up towards the ceiling, it really doesn't matter, whatever works for you. So I'm just going to take a couple of breaths here, really thinking about softening the torso, thinking about relaxing the belly. And then bringing the knees back to centre, we're pushing into the feet so we can shift the hips right this time. Knees fall to the left again, adjusting so that you can stay quite easily and relaxing into it, noticing the big stretch down the right hand side of the body, noticing how the breath moves the body more easily on the right hand side, really relaxing into the moment. And again, gaze can go opposite way to the knees or up to the ceiling. Good, and coming back to centre. Two options now, we're either going to draw the knees in and just have a little roll around on the lower back, or if you'd like to, we can take a happy baby pose. So we're either going to grasp the inside or outside edges of the feet, whichever feels more natural for you. We're going to bring the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, knees into the armpits. So bringing the knees wide, and if this is excruciating, then just draw the knees in as I showed you a moment ago. If you're with me in happy baby, I want you to think about a little lengthening the tailbone down towards the mat. It won't make it, or it might not make it, but it's the intention. Good, releasing the hands and feet. We're going to come to Shavasana now, your version of Shavasana. So it might look like legs outstretched, feet flop out to the edges of the mat, arms away from the body with the palms face up. Or you might prefer to bend the knees, feet flat to the floor, and let the knees rest against each other. Whichever one of those works for you, find that comfortable place, closing the eyes or maybe just gently lowering the gaze. And taking this time now in Shavasana to let everything go, to let the body rest, to let the mind rest. And we're just going to spend a couple more breaths here because we are looking to energise this morning, so we don't want to get too comfortable here. But if you feel like you've got more time and you want to, feel free to take your Shavasana for a little bit longer. But to come back out, let's begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe we'll move the wrists and the ankles too if that feels good. And then we're going to check in with our body, see what feels right. Do we want to draw the knees in, give ourselves a big cuddle, or would you prefer to take a big full body stretch, feeling the whole length of the body from the tips of the fingers to the tips of the toes? Or do you maybe want to do both of those things? I'm going to ease over onto the right hand side to come back up, and then coming around the wrong way as usual, back to seated, finding a comfortable seated position, legs crossed, legs out in front, as long as you can sit with the spine nice and tall and the shoulders relaxed. That's all we're looking for. We're going to draw the hands into prayer at the heart, and then lowering the chin to the chest, the head to the heart, reinforcing the connection that we make with every practice. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this practice, and I hope to see you again, either in person or on here very soon.